Sanibonani molweni, dumelang, thobela, goeiemiddag. You are watching Ebuhlanti. Ebuhlanti is a platform where men are discussing issues affecting them, including gender-based violence in our communities. I am not alone today. I have my audience who are based in Ennerdale. We have our guest here, and I'm very much sure our guest will be able to shape these discussions. Our topic is very clear. We'll be discussing fatherhood, the absence of fathers in our society, absent fathers. We call it absent fathers. There are complaints, there are reports that the reason why we're having gender-based violence in our society is because of absent fathers. We don't have all the answers. Maybe our panel will assist us to come up with solutions, including yourselves. Let me allow my panel to introduce themselves. Let me start with Pastor September.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Aubrey September. I represent Greater Ennerdale Real Men's Forum and also No More Victims. We are based in Ennerdale and the surrounding areas. We deal with the issue of gender-based violence, also absent fathers, and we're networking with the Fatherhood Foundation, working with in different communities.
Pastor, before we go on, is it really true that absent fathers are the root cause of gender-based violence in our country?
It also contributes to that gender-based violence. I think, and we've been dealing with this topic the whole week, where we had about more than 100 young people, especially males, to deal with the issue and the topic of gender-based violence and also the absent father. It is quite sad within our community and in our country. And as I mentioned this week, that it is so unfortunate that God had to close the Old Testament with these words in Malachi, where he says, unless God turns the hearts of the fathers back to the sons and the hearts of the sons back to the fathers, he will come and smite the earth with a curse. And this is the result, what we are seeing throughout South Africa. This is the result. But we are working on the issue of absent fathers.
Yeah. We'll come back. Bishop Kulayo, I'm sure you do have something to say around this topic, but also introduce yourself.
Molweni Ebuhlanti. My name is Bishop V. Kulayo. I'm representing Masixoxa Men and Boys Forum. We are based in Diepkloof, Soweto. Coming to the issue of absent fathers, that issue, it really affects us as a country. Very, 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 very bad, because you look at our jails are full of boys and who are very angry because of us not being there in their lives when they need us most. So as a country, I think we need to invest more on these young boys, so then we have better fathers of tomorrow and better husbands of tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ngokheli, let's hear from you. What is your take on this matter?
Okay, maybe starting by introducing myself. My name is Inhlanhla Dingiswayo. I come from an organization in Ebuhlanti, Soweto. We call ourselves Men in Prayer. The main thing that we are about is to restore men back to God, understanding that if men can have a heart, they can have a belief, they can have a responsibility to God first, then they can be better men. So now that is mainly what we are doing with Men in Prayer. We meet every Saturday morning because now lockdown is open. We meet every Saturday morning at Ebuhlanti. And it's not only an issue that is raised by mothers and boys and other young girls. It's a real problem that we have, and there are some few ideas that one will throw out to this in the Ebuhlanti and see whether are those practical to start and then to deal with, maybe as we discussed. but that's where we are. It's a thing that is very much important for us to talk about.
Yes. Leadership. Long
Thank-
time.
Yes, thank you, Prof. My name is Charlie Peterson. I'm the author of the book Growing Up Without a Father and also the author of the book Boy Child to Matter. So I also run an organization, Growing Up Without a Father Foundation. You see, if you put the two together, if the father is not present in the house, then there's no order. So I started the book. I also grew up without a father. I went and looked up for my father at the age of 21 because there's something like identity and sense of belonging. You know, most of us, I think Bishop mentioned the prison. I do a lot of prison ministry. 99 of the guys in prison will tell you, I'm here because I'd never had a role model, I never had a father. So I hate my father. So you are actually dealing with issues of unforgiveness, anger, and bitterness. So the root cause, Prof, of gender-based violence is that anger breeds anger. So it means if my father beat me up or beat my mother up, I'm also going to do the same as a grown-up. Thank you so much.
In fact, I read your book, and it's very interesting, and I hope that after this discussion, you'll come back to this community and run workshops as part of follow-up. I don't believe in once-off events.
No,
but
thanks.
we have our audience. I'm not sure if there are hands. Maybe you want to say something, Babungomane. Maybe you can contribute as well on this topic.
Yes, thanks a lot, Chairperson. No, I'm from social development, and as social development, we are equally concerned about the issue of fatherlessness in the nation. That is why we are part of such engagements as government, because our view is that for a child, especially the boy child, to grow up having respect, having good manners, he needs that positive male role model. And such engagements, such forums, we really encourage that in our churches, in our schools, even in our streets, we should take care of the boy child. We should make sure that someone is mentoring the boy child. And it does not need to be your child. It can be your sister's child, it can be your neighbor's child, but any boy child needs that mentoring. That's the long and the short of it for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Babungomane. Let's go for shopping. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Siyabonga sibuyela kwakhona kwinkqubo yethu Ebuhlanti. Madoda. Man. Thank you so much. Ndate, you wanted to say something. It's your turn.
Good afternoon. Fatherhood, yes, I will speak on behalf of myself. I grew up without a father. Up to this age, I don't know how my father look, how he is. And at the age of 17, they gave me death sentence. But when God called me 2014 to be the father of this young man, I run a spiritual center which I take boys out of the street who is infected of drugs. Because we understand that drugs is a spirit. But it is sad because now we look for our identity into gangsterism. Because when we are still young, it's like I was 13 years of age, I walked out of my mother's house. That's when I joined gangs, at the age of 13 years. And God allowed me 40 years to be in this wilderness. That's why today I run an organization, and this organization, these are my boys. This is my boys here, and I'm networking with the pastor. But it is really important for fathers to be in a child's grow up. Because without a father, it's destruction. I can go to the words that our brother was saying there. It is bitterness, unforgiveness, a lot of things. So that is what I can say, that this fatherhood is really necessary in this thing. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Yes, we have two hands there. Can someone help us with the microphone?
My name is Mervyn Waterboer. I'm a resident of Annandale. And talking about gender-based violence, I think we must go back to Christianity, take Christianity back to the schools and start teaching the children the 10 Commandments. because these children, they don't know the 10 commandments of Moses. And talking about drugs, our problem in Annandale is, at the moment, we're fighting for the economy, the health, and the education. Those three things. Now, Annandale, as far as Annandale concerned, Annandale is going backwards. There's no way forward. My suggestion is, if we can get, for instance, say a VW company to come put up a built VW here in Annandale, then our children can get work. And this drug epidemic, we can stop that by getting our children work here. Our children got no work. That's why they end up in the streets.
Thank you very much. Now I'm going to allow my panel to respond, but I'll start this side. What is your response, colleagues? Because it's obvious that we do agree that we have a problem.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. I think the problem here is our government. I think our government is failing us. I'm sorry, maybe I'm offending other people. I think our government is failing us because when I'm listening to our brothers and sisters here, I think there's one common problem here, which is crime, drugs, and unemployment, of which the unemployment thing is affecting the community, and the same community, now it becomes the problem of the community again. The same community that's supposed to protect the community, the same community that harass the community again. So it's a problem. I think unemployment is contributing to the GBV and all the problems that are happening in the area of Annandale.
Okay.
Thank you.
Pastor?
Yeah, as we listen to the speakers, the previous speakers, it is a reality that we are facing on a daily basis within Annandale and the surrounding areas. Unemployment is rife, it's a reality. Our community within Annandale is basically a dormitory. I have a neighbor that leaves 3:15 in the morning, and people basically come here to sleep, and that's all they do here. I am also currently the truancy officer of a number of schools in our communities where we collect names and visit children that are absent from school. And it is only then that we discover that there is greater problems within these homes. And we definitely need to deal with the unemployment, the drug and substance abuse within our community.
Yeah, but there's something I don't understand, colleagues. Please help me to address this issue. We agree that our fathers are not there. They are absent in these communities. My question is, how do we address this issue? Because unemployment has been there for ages. The issue of drugs is always there, and we have fathers in these houses, but they're absent. How do we deal with this? Because I don't want us to shift the blame a lot. For instance, even myself, I grew up without my father for 31 years, but I'm not a criminal. My mother was there alone. I've never stolen anything from anybody. I never raped anyone. How do we address this issue? Because not all of us are fortunate. I don't want us to run away from this topic. I want us to address it. 30 seconds.
Okay. Yeah. You see, within our community and country, our boys has been raised very, very wrong. As a young child at 5 up to 10, when you get hurt, you fell, they tell you, don't cry.
Yes.
You're a man.
Okay.
So I can't understand how you can be a man and a boy or a child in the same
At the
time.
same time. Okay. Let's quickly go to a break, see Itolo, and buy some stuff and come back. This is becoming hot. But when we come back, we'll be discussing way forward. Madoda,
Daughter.
Madoda.
Daughter.
Manne. Manne. You are watching Ebuhlanti. Bengithi mangizwe from your side enkokheli ukuthi what is it that really needs to be done. You have heard the audience ukuthi abantu bathini, though issue absent father is a real problem, but you can see that there are other challenges that are developing in our society, the issue of drugs, unemployment and stuff. What is your take?
Yeah, so I think I agree with what you said before in terms of saying, let us really look at that question of absent fathers, and then let us unpack it and then deal with that and see maybe other things will fall by the wayside. One of the things that I wouldn't want anybody to take away from me is the part of growing my children, of having the first lie for my daughter. She's 4 years old, she's lying to me, and I know that she's lying. That thing, it's one thing that I don't want anybody to take away from me. So now it's one of those things that I think they play a major role in my life, that it makes me who I am.
Yeah.
We're talking about all these things, crime, GBV, and all those are the symptoms of another problem that you might have.
All right.
If ever, as fathers, one of the things I think men, when we discuss that challenges them, is that men almost feel like they're not equipped, number one. Sometimes they feel like, they cannot do what they need to do for their children.
Yeah.
So now, I want to say to men and also, to men and boys, you are created in the image of God, and God never leaves anybody out, and God never forsakes anybody. Let's go back, love our children, love our gogos, love our mothers, love our wives and our girlfriends, and just be there for them. That will change your life drastically.
Yeah. Leadership.
Thank you, Prof. I think men are hurt. We're setting off a problem that if you can't love yourself, if you can't deal with the pain inside of you, it's going to be difficult for you to be in a position to love somebody else and to take it forward. So my advice will be, talk to the little man inside of you, because you know that there's a little boy that was hurt at the age of 5 or 6 that grew up with you up to the stage where you are, and you never dealt with it. I think accountability and responsibility start with men. Start loving yourself.
And
Thank you so much.
And I think because you are still standing, regardless of challenges, you grew up without your father, but look at yourself. And I think it's important for young men to understand that, one, you are not your father.
Yes. And I think, Prof,
I'm not sure if you get it.
No,
You
no,
are
it's a
not
fact,
your
because
father.
life is about choices.
Exactly.
You can still make a choice at the age of 5, 4, 3, 2. I made a choice at the age of 5 that I will never drink, smoke, or anything else. So it can happen to any young man.
Yes.
Life is about choices.
Okay, way forward. I think we need to know from here where to, because it's obvious that these leaders will come back here in this community and assist in developing this community. Let's get a few hands on way forward. What needs to be done from here? Babu Ngomane.
All right, thanks a lot, Che. One other important thing that I think South Africa needs to do is to define what does it mean to be a father. We need a national definition so that we can say if this man is a father, it means he's responsible for the thinking of his children, he's responsible for the well-being of his children, and most of all is also responsible for their spiritual being. So those are 3 important elements that makes one a father. But South Africa now has confused fatherhood with financing or sponsoring. You hear people saying, I'm an absent father because I don't work. I ran away as a father because I could not afford my children. But if you are not working or you don't have money, you still feed them psychologically. You make sure what gets into their mind is what is right, and what gets into their soul is what is spiritual right, and it's important. Lastly, Che, we also as government are pushing very hard to say there should be boy-child programs everywhere in our communities, whether it's 10 boys or 5 boys. But we adult men Let us train these boys. Let us mentor them. Let us make them better men. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my good audience. I really appreciate your contributions. I'm now going to allow my guests to say something for 30 seconds.
Prof, I think as a nation, it's our duty to go back to the basics. You know, even the absent fathers, my plea is always go and look up for that kids that you left behind with one night stands and everything. Go back and say, I'm sorry, but take accountability and responsibility.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Peterson. My way forward and also my suggestion is that, you know, my friends, my men, let us be. So now go back to everyone that you can love, your relatives, your children. It is very, very fulfilling to do that. You can want to find contentment somewhere else, but go back to the people that are around you. You'll find that is more, that will give you a high more than any high that you can get anywhere else.
Yes, thank you. On behalf of No More Victims Rehabilitation Center, and we have about 12 boys or young men in the center that we are currently training, equipping, and bringing them back to the principles of what it is to be a man. Because the real meaning of a father is the founder of a lifestyle.
Thank you, Prof. I think two things. First thing, I will emphasize on self-love as a man. Then number two, I think we need to encourage the culture, counseling. Because men, they think you go to counseling when you have a problem. So I think we need to encourage that people must go to counseling whenever they have a problem or they don't have a problem. So then they prepare themselves for the problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, because of time, I will allow my guests after this to come together and come up with a plan, because we need to come back to this community. I would love to see you, Babu Peterson, for instance, launching your book or your movie. I know that you are busy putting together a movie. You must come to this community and let us really plow back to this community. From my side, I'm Bulelo Jasi. Thank you very much. See you next week, same time, same place.